Hello, everybody, and welcome to another scintillating, delicious episode of the Chocolate Bros podcast. We have a guest bro on the show today because my brother Brian is in Peru in the jungle hanging out with cacao farmers at the moment. And so we have our great friend, customer, partner, David Anijo. How you doing, man?
Hello, Adam.
Coming in hot. Nice.
Hey, man, just absolute pleasure.
Oh, hey, man, it's a pleasure, and I love to have you on the show because you're such an interesting and cool guy. You got so much to say, so I know it's going to be a good episode. Let me just remind everybody to check us out at www.fortunatochocolate.com. Fortunato spelled Fortunato. I was just counting; we're at like 1,872 5-star reviews on the website, which is pretty awesome. Every single new review is exciting. Like you never get used to people eating the thing that your business makes and loving it. It never gets old. And I saw you left a couple of reviews on there recently too.
Well, I actually, as long as I've been eating your chocolate, I never really did a review, but I really don't. I guess I don't do them too much unless it really moves me. So,
and even though well, first of all, it's surreal and crazy to even think that 1,872 people have purchased and liked our chocolate. That alone is crazy. But actually, something maybe like 20 or 30. I think it's closer to 30,000 people have bought our chocolate, which is just outrageous. Because you know us, we're just a couple of dudes in Issaquah, Washington. We're just regular folks. It's crazy that many people have bought our chocolate. It's a dream come true.
But once people understand what this chocolate is, how it was even accidentally found, so to speak, and the story. And I know I repeat myself, but I'm going to tell you this, Adam. You're one of the only reasons I'm out here doing this. I've never in my entire life of 55 years thought I'd be doing a podcast. So your love for doing business right, for treating people right, and changing, I've said it in emails, thousands and thousands and thousands of lives from this little chocolate business that you and your brother and your dad started. I mean,
well, honestly, man, I could say our friendship has opened up my eyes to what else a business can be. What, not just a chocolate business or our chocolate business, but it has really, becoming friends with you and hearing your story and just getting to know each other and knowing what your goals are with your involvement in the chocolate business as well, because you're helping us out quite a lot now. It has really been a revelation for me to start to understand what it is that a business can really be about in this world. I think when most people think about business, they're thinking about money and getting rich and stuff like that. But I don't think that that's noble enough. I think businesses can be about so much more. And I've learned that from you. So thank you, man.
well, I think I wound up and before I get too far, and thank you. And I have to go to my notes because thank you, Rob, and thank you, Scott, for emailing me and responding to an email that Adam had shared with you. These things, I hope you all understand. These are not normal things for me to do. Adam and Brian have with the help of my 31-year-old wife Brenda, have helped me.
She's only 31, or you've been married for 31 years?
I've been married for 31.
Yeah.
Look at my looks. Do you really think I can get
I know Brendan's gonna hear this, and she'll probably would have caught that. So just
right.
Yeah, but you've been married for 31 years, man.
31 years, and and we've known each other for 40, going on 43 years.
Soulmates.
Absolutely. And you'll hear me say this a lot. I'm absolutely blessed. I'm blessed of every bad and good thing that's happened to get me to this point today.
I've been married. So I didn't mean to cut on you. Go ahead. Sorry.
I saw that in your business. I saw that how you treated people. I saw that, okay, really the end product of this world. I've never really eaten on a regular basis this good of chocolate.
Nobody does, man.
Yeah, well, I try.
Yeah, well now you do, but yeah, but until people have gotten involved with us, I don't think that I don't think the idea of eating really good chocolate occurs to most people.
Right.
But now that you can get it for pretty much the same price as bad chocolate, there's no excuses.
It's so funny. So Brenda has this drawer at her work, and everybody goes to it because she keeps it stocked with candy. Now we know candy has chocolate on it, and not even
Legally it's chocolate.
good.
According to the legal definition, it is
I
chocolate.
quote you legally.
Yeah.
It's a chocolate kind of like thing that might look like chocolate. How's that?
Yeah, well, it meets like the Congress's definition of what chocolate is, according to the laws that are on the books. But what do they know, man?
I stay neutral. I stay under the wire, so I don't have to define it.
Yeah.
So she keeps this drawer, and everybody draws to it. And well, before I even tasted Fortunato or chocolate, I was in that drawer whenever I was there too.
Well, of course,
I'm in that drawer now today, and trust me, I've got a Fortunato empty package right on her desk, so that everybody at her work loves it. By the way, but they open that drawer, and they're like, now they're all deciding. They're not just grabbing because it's a full. They're just not. They're trying to pick out the best tasting, and it's because once we introduced Fortunato into the office, that was it. And that is it's the great part about sharing this.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about this, and I've talked about it a little bit on here on the podcast as well. But about 2 years ago, at the beginning of 2020, is when we really, as a company, decided to change what we wanted to be about. We've always sold to 5-star restaurants. I mean, we're talking France and United Arab Emirates, New York City, and selling at the top prices to really fancy restaurants and chocolatiers and chefs all over the world.
Absolutely.
And on the one, it's interesting, because on the one hand, we're in Peru working with these really humble cacao farmers, and we're making a difference in the community. But then on the other side of the equation, we're selling to these organizations that are so far removed from that. And we really wanted to be able to bring something that was world-class and high quality, but just to regular folks who had never really considered eating a top chocolate before. And it's playing out beautifully. I mean, it's been really, really fun and really amazing.
And when I had the absolute pleasure of meeting you, it changed my life. I'm literally, this is my life, and this is where I want to be for the next 20, 30 years, is supporting, sharing, inspiring about what a business can be, much more than, like you said, the profit, the extras that go with having a business. And being a previous business owner myself, I will tell you, it's not fun.
It's hard. No, well, yeah.
I mean, by fun, I mean not, hey, I get to go every weekend and do whatever I want. And no.
And honestly, another really rewarding thing, I've gotten a few responses just in the last week or so from other business owners writing and saying, hey, we're a business owner too. We love what you guys are doing, and you're inspiring us to be better. And
so
like
cool.
we because I write about the problems that we have too. We share what our real problems are, especially with all the supply chain stuff that's going on. We've been struggling a lot, and so getting feedback from other business owners. Business owners are some of the least appreciated people in society. They provide all these jobs. They're the lifeblood of our economy. They're a big part of what makes America great, like our entrepreneurial spirit. And not enough people salute them.
No.
So, and it's cool that you were a business owner too. And I didn't even know that when we met each other. So you're already an entrepreneur and a business-minded guy. So that's been pretty awesome.
So many ideas in my life have ran through my head where I should have, went through with the patent, gone through with the invention that did. But you know what? After a while, and especially now, it was, that any knowledge that I have, I'm about sharing it. Anything that's good that comes into my life, I'm so grateful for. I'm so humbled that I get to be around people like you. I mean, look at you're worldly.
Not really.
Wait, you know, the only worldly thing about me is maybe uh, saying the word. I mean, in the military, yeah, okay, but I don't consider that worldly. I had a mission to do. That's what I did. I came back home, but I don't get to meet chefs from around the world. I don't get to involve myself with world-class chocolatiers and chocolate makers and restaurants. You know how many fine dining restaurants I've been into? How many are there in Las Vegas?
I don't. So, by the way, man, I just want to tell you something. I am not worldly at all. I maybe come off that way, but I'm really, I'm not. And I'll tell you something.
Super cool, and you are a world-class man.
Well,
That's what
but you are too, man. And look, so one of the underlying themes here of the whole of the whole company, and I think what we're getting into now is that you don't got to be worldly or sophisticated or some kind of like hotshot or hoity-toity or big, you know, some kind of big time person to really enjoy the finer things and the high quality things in life. I don't know why those things have to be considered real sophisticated or real worldly when all the people that produce those things are regular blue collar people.
right.
Right. You go to
Right.
you go to some fancy restaurant in New York where they're serving a plate of fish or some kind of beef or whatever. Like that beef came from a farm where cowboys are working.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, I don't want you to have to repeat yourself. I want to be the one to repeat for you, so you can so you can continue using that brain of yours. Sharing the fact that look at this chocolate started somewhere, and you and I know that dirt in northern Peru, in this jungle area, that these pure nacional cacao grows. That dirt is just as important as, say, having the cacao made into chocolate. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey, man, everything, almost everything that civilization is built out of, even things like computer chips, are come from the ground. I know it's easy to forget that, right? Because we live in such a data heavy world where everything shows up on our phone. But like we tried to buy a car recently and we couldn't because there's a chip shortage, because it's a supply chain issue, because you got to mine the stuff that goes into chips.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with the 68 or 69 say, you know? It fits 4, you can put some really good seat belts in there.
All right, well, you know, that's what I mean. That's what it's going to come down to now. But
They don't have tips.
yeah, that's funny that you say I'm worldly, and I tell you nowadays where I'm happiest
Yeah.
is talking to the people that email in who are just good old regular everyday folks, and hanging out in Issaquah, talking to people who come into the shop, walking around, meeting people in the community, hanging out with you, and
Thank you.
like hanging out with my kids and my family. But I and this is part of the, I think part of the reason why it took us a long time to break into selling chocolate to high-end restaurants and chocolatiers.
Yeah.
Our family is so not high class, highfalutin types. My dad's was from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we grew up just
My
straight.
grandmother's from Indiana.
Is she? And
Yeah.
I mean, we just grew up straight middle class, but entrepreneurs, but
Right.
just straight middle class entrepreneurial folks with not a single, really like a single sophisticated bone in our body.
We all have a little bit of entrepreneurialism. Hey, I said the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all have that in us. It's just very few people will act upon it because there's not enough inspiration or passion to do it. So you brought that out in me, brother.
Yeah, well, hey man, we're super lucky to have you. And I know it's funny that you said you would never have ever considered like being on a podcast, for example,
Not
or
at
being
all.
out talking to people selling chocolate. But man, you got so much potential for this stuff. You're such a smart guy, a deep guy, an
Well, brother,
interesting dude, man. I'm glad we were able to pull that out of you, because
I'm
the
gonna say
world's becoming a better place for it.
I'm gonna say this again. I'm just another man. Unique, okay, but I'm just another man.
You are unique, dude. That's for sure.
So yeah, because now as it is normal, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. So
No worries, dude. But well, look, we talked a little bit before. We talked a little bit before we got started about a topic and a theme,
right,
and we've already been touching on it a little bit. But I think the overall idea that regular folks should be going for good stuff. It
right,
doesn't have to be more expensive. You don't have to go to some like fancy restaurant to get it, but there's a lot of good stuff out there that's affordable, that regular people can enjoy and partake in something that's of really high quality. So I think we wanted to just kind of get into what's the kind of stuff we like, what kinds of food and companies and brands call our attention, what kind of experiences do we like, and just kind of share our thoughts on that. And maybe it'll help us come up with some ideas for the company as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so
So
what do you like, man?
what do I like? Now, I've always considered food to, either for substance uh or substance or for pleasure.
Uh,
Because if you're not starving and you're not even hungry, but you have the opportunity to have a taste of pleasure, a taste of just goodness, it's not going to add any feel of make you feel any fuller, but you're going to get to enjoy something that otherwise you would never have an opportunity to. Okay, that's the way I felt when I first tasted your chocolate. So, oh my goodness, how is this not available to everybody? And Brenda is the chocolate expert. She's the connoisseur, so to speak. She's the one that's really helped me. Hey, if you really believe in what this chocolate is, you know, email their local email. So she was the pusher to get me
that's
doing that ever since I've been in,
that
in four rooms. I mean,
that
four walls.
uh, um well, I remember talking to you before. You mentioned to me that like breaking bread is a huge it's like
Super important,
a
brother.
communal experience. It's a bonding experience as well.
It is. Absolutely is. And so that relates around food and enjoyment of it, not just for substance. Hey, if it was just for substance, I'd be sucking down another four monsters to get through
Well,
another 6 hours.
hey man, at least here in the United States, the sustenance thing has pretty much been solved
Right.
for almost every, like, no, almost
No,
nobody really starves to death in the United
no, but
States.
but it's all processed. It's
It,
all just
but yeah, no one starves to death, but it does kill us young.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah,
You know exactly where I was going with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That no, I had, you know what, I wasn't even going to talk about that, but I remember reading an
Hey,
article that something like 60% of deaths here are from like self-caused illnesses, where just your lifestyle is the cause of it.
absolutely. I mean, stress, that's the number one killer. But you're right. I may not be able to run or jump, but I can do core. I can, work on my biceps and my forearms and my stomach because I want to enjoy those qualities that you're talking about. Everybody should be able to enjoy those qualities of life. And I mean, what do I like? I like that, but I like to know that from the dirt to the end product, from from walking
It's
the
really a cool
door,
thing to be able to know.
yes,
Yeah.
to walking into the door and eating my meal and leaving, to getting to meet the cook maybe, or because the cook might want to talk about where that food came from, which I wouldn't know, but I know where the food got cooked and who it got cooked from.
Well, when I'll tell you, one of the things with the whole sort of dirt to table um, paradigm and process
Yeah,
is it's a less on demand kind of thing.
absolutely.
So
And if it's
you go to the grocery store, you want to buy some.
everybody can afford, you can't afford it if it is there.
Yeah, but you go to the grocery store, and in any grocery store anywhere in the world, right? At any given time, you could buy a bag of Doritos.
You're worldly. because I don't know.
Yeah, I believe in Peru you could get Doritos. Like
Well,
any
yes,
like
whatever
any
farm you're on.
any gas station you go to here in the United States, any grocery store, any fast food restaurant, like
There's Doritos.
there's
Yeah.
Doritos. It's available on demand. So the fact that it's available everywhere at all times almost automatically means you're sacrificing some of what's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like that conversation you have with that chef can only happen once in a while because that dude's limited.
Well, we'll also remember this. We have a limited supply every year.
Well, we run out. I mean,
I mean, I'm sorry. I keep saying I mean, look, you don't know how much I like to share. You can call it still, but how much I like to share this chocolate. So it's like, man, you can order it online. You, if I'm around and I have, man, that's what that's what I love to do, because it's just important to me that anybody has the ability to have this product, this chocolate. And I would say that at a fine restaurant that I've gone to, a service, whether it's for my vehicle or something for my home, that I'm moved when people take the time more than just the product or the price.
And you want to know something about that? What you just described, that thing where you really want to share something special.
Yeah.
That's been a part of the human economy for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That's like a very fundamental thing in people.
Right.
Like when you come across something that's really cool and really special, you want to tell other people about it. There's something
building.
Yeah.
Gotta tell somebody, I gotta get this out.
I know, even like you see a great movie or right, there's a new band, obviously with chocolate, a new restaurant opens up, whatever. There's something like there's something, I don't know what it is. Yeah, there's just some desire to share. Social media has accelerated it, but it's been around forever.
Right, but and it's been replaced too by a lot of media and advertisement, so to speak. Yeah, like you said, if you can go in anywhere and get Doritos, then that means that the marketing, the advertising, and who's saying it, not me and you saying it to somebody new, a new potential customer, somebody that will get to taste something probably for the first time, unless they've been, to one of these restaurants or chocolatiers stores, and you don't dismiss anybody, because that would be like saying, well, what if you dismissed me? What if Adam dismissed me and he didn't understand my passion of life and inspiring others and just sharing your story, because it's one of the greatest stories of my life, and I get to share it.
Well, you're in the story now, man, and we're still in the
my feet haven't touched the ground. I don't even know what that means, other than I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I'm loving doing it.
And I think
I just love doing what I'm doing.
I think what would be easy to overlook too is we've been in business for 13 years. We're still at the beginning. We're still in chapter 1 of the story. I mean, this thing's going to go on for a long time.
Well, you made it past that first 2-3 year pitch, and then you made it past 6, 7, and then when you double that, and now at 13, it's a brand new ball game, brother.
It is, man. We're just getting started, man. Every chapter is a new chapter.
But isn't it so cool to be able to walk around, and anybody that comes past you, you have something that will make them feel good, that will maybe inspire them. I think I get very few people that don't appreciate that I've taken the time to stop and talk to them about something that I so believe in, and a family I so believe in, and now get to be a part of and friends with for the rest of my life. My wife and I, we don't have bunches and bunches of friends.
No, we don't either, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't.
I'm pretty big.
I know, but you want to say, well, hey, but when you're married with kids and stuff, it's hard to have tons of friends because you're just so busy all the time.
Oh man, my life is just like you. Your family, that's your life. It's just neat when every once in a while you can add a little to that family.
But hey, man, you were talking about something interesting with advertising and sharing.
Yeah,
that was an interesting thing that you were just talking about, because when somebody, a real person, shares something with you face to face, I think with all with all the advertising and all the money that gets spent promoting really bad or mediocre and bad products.
The price up too, right? By
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah, for sure. I think people have become numb to advertising or jaded, cynical. Like it doesn't mean anything. You hear some advertising message, it just rolls right over you.
It's the VHS or beta of advertising. That's what
Yeah,
advertising.
yeah. It's kind of
Equal
defunct
to-
now. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, digital video recording. It is the beta or VHS tapes.
So when a real person recommends something to you, and
Yes.
you can see they're sincere, they're not just saying it because there's something in it for them. They're saying it because they genuinely believe it. That means a lot. That means a lot. Maybe it means now more than it ever did before. That a real person would have a real interaction with you and actually be passionate about something. I think
Right.
a lot, the world has become somewhat jaded and cynical, and real people kind of, you don't see them that much anymore. Go ahead, man. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna say, no one's ever approached me with such passion in the last. I don't know. I mean, my family and my friends, they're passionate about things. Well, I'm saying strangers, people I don't know. I have never gotten approached lately with a salesperson or a stranger that had something or a place they went that they needed.
And
I don't. But you passed me. That's
well,
gonna happen.
and what, and then so like what I started off saying, so we're talking about things. The overall theme is what we like in food and what we like in business.
Yes.
So the other thing I've noticed, just as we're starting to develop this new direction, is I rarely see any businesses doing anything other than just trying to sell you something.
Right.
Like I don't see many businesses
agree.
who really care about you. And hey, maybe it's not even the product that they offer. Like we're doing more and more just trying to spread the word of light and joy and being a good person and helping people
Yes.
out, especially
Yes.
being charitable. And that has nothing to do with chocolate. We're just doing it because that's the
No,
impact we want to make in the world. And I'm more and more I'm drawn to that,
yeah, but the chocolate is so. I use I use adjectives that I don't know. Divine.
That's true. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, it brings that out of me, and it's like, man, I sound kind of dorky even saying that, but it's true. And what I'm trying to get at is that chocolate is the what is that? Apex, the top, of sharing, caring, taking the time, engaging, inspiring, showing how to be passionate, helping others, being an ear, being a shoulder, being that person that maybe you were the only one that could be for.
But chocolate's the vehicle.
Chocolate's the vehicle, brother, because it is such a fine.
Yeah, and honestly, man, I've been eating that chocolate for so long that sometimes it starts to feel a little regular to me. But then what happens is I will go eat another chocolate,
There you go.
and then it reminds me, it's like, oh yeah,
Don't
this
think I
is
don't
not.
remember. I got a little bite size. Not even during this Halloween season. I got a little bite size of Butterfinger for you anytime you want. And I got the he likes the Peter Paul, the Mounds.
Oh yeah, the almond joys, or yeah,
Almond Joy, yeah.
the coconut mounds.
I got one for you in case you get, you want to mix it up a little.
So
I
look,
haven't done it, and I haven't had chocolate other than Fortunato in. I don't
me
even
neither,
know.
dude. I don't mess around with it. I know. I mean, I don't either, because I know that it's not going to be as good.
I had a
And
candy corn a couple of days ago. Does that count?
yeah, that's cool.
That's
Candy.
candy.
Yeah.
That's
So we're going back to what we're talking about. Just coming across people who actually care and who aren't just doing it just because they got nothing else to do or they just got to take home a check, but people who are really passionate about what they're doing. That to me is it's a very attractive characteristic in a business, more and more.
Everybody listening. I hope you too, Adam.
I'm listening.
Everybody listening. Yes. This community that Fortunato for Chocolate is building, and the caring of what they're doing, what they're sharing, and what they're allowing customers like me to share. I want to be your historian, by the way.
Let's do it,
This
man.
is what you really, really look for your entire life. Right? I don't know how to describe it than that. I don't want to get too sentimental other than to say that this family, this product, and the way that they are now sharing it by having a retail store in Issaquah, uh, and allowing me to go everywhere and share it. This is what I've looked for my entire life. You know,
Well, and you know what's great about the retail store? Uh,
but
like people will just come in and talk to you.
yeah,
It's funny that it's like you miss it. I think over the last 20 years or something, it's been dying down, and then with COVID, it got cut off at the knees.
right.
But just to be able to go in and just chat with someone, talk about what's going on in the neighborhood,
Well,
hear a
let's not
story, eat some chocolate. It's
let's
just
not
it's a very
forget,
human thing to do.
right, but let's not forget that it's because we have respect, we have integrity, and that is the same like-minded
Mhm.
attractions. It's not because somebody's being bullied, pushed,
Correct.
intimidated, felt to be superior over. Look, I am so humbled every time I'm in front of you. Man, I can't wait for my hug. But the knowledge that I get and the things that I'm able to now share that just parallel with Brenda's in my life, maybe that gives that extra passion and push that I have. Like I said, if you run into me, or you pass me by, I can guarantee you, if you're listening to this, you'll know because I'm not going to pass you by. I really don't pass a lot of people by.
Nope, I don't either.
Yeah, it's too important, and it's like I said, if I'm going to live this way, then that's the way it is.
Well, you talked about a little bit before. I mean, we're talking about the chocolate in particular, but I would say generally also food has has the ability to be transcendent. There's something about eating some.
I'm not sure what that means.
It means you sort of rise above reality,
Okay.
right? There's something. I know you want to talk about sounding dorky. I'm going to say something super dorky right now, but
Oh, thank
whatever.
you.
I don't, you know, but certain things like food, music, art, even things where you have you laugh and have a great joke. It's almost spiritual. There's
Yes.
something spiritual in nature about
Nothing dorky about that. That's
about
just
it is, but there's some things in life that are particularly tend towards being towards spiritual, and I think
yeah,
food is one of those things,
I agree. That's
right?
why it's so important for me to break bread or enjoy a meal with somebody for the first time. It's not going to just be anybody, you know.
And so I've had a few experiences when I go, for example, to restaurants that I really like, where you're with your friends, you're with your family, you sit down, the meal has been prepared with real care. Like whoever
Right.
made the meal, whoever cooked it, they knew what they were doing,
Right.
and they did it to the best of their ability, and the environment is created correctly, and you eat, and you almost kind of have an out of body experience. You know, you just feel, you just feel great in the moment. I love that, and you don't get it
There's a
enough.
humility about it.
What's that?
There's a humility about it.
Oh, I'm building. Yeah. Well, that honestly, the times when I've had those experiences in restaurants or with any business hasn't been in fancy restaurants. I mean, when I'm in a fancy restaurant, I feel a little bit like, I got to look cool and people might be judging me, and I got to make
Right.
sure my manners are just so, and I'm eating with the right fork and all that.
Okay, but how about this? How about if you go to that place where it is fancy like that, but because you're not, and you walk in as a true, just sincere person, and you get treated regardless of how fancy the place
Epic, the best.
is. Well,
So
that's what
many,
you guys are. All right.
yeah.
That's what auto chocolate is.
Well, that's a high compliment. But if that's what we are,
Well,
and if that's what we can keep being, I mean,
I
that's
hope that's what I'm representing every
you are,
time
man. You are. Yeah. No, that's a good point. So you go into this really fancy restaurant, you might be like you're a little bit nervous because
No, I am. If you're talking about me, absolutely.
no, that's well, like any of us, Like you go to this real swanky place that costs, it's expensive, but you go in there and they just treat you
Oh,
like you're the best, you're the VIP,
yeah.
and you don't feel like they're looking down on you. You feel like they're elevating you. That is pretty awesome when
Yeah.
something like that happens.
When I suggested a restaurant for you, that is why Giuseppe or Joe Stortini has always made me feel like when Brett and I go in there for our anniversary dinners, and we've been doing it for 20, oh my goodness, 24 years now, 20, something like that. He makes us feel that way. And he, I mean, why have I been going back for 25 years? I could have picked a lot of swankier or different places in different cities restaurant for our anniversary, which is super important to me. You know, I mean, it is and it isn't, because I'm not one of these. Oh, I've been married 31 years on paper, but I think our souls were together long before that. So
Yeah,
you
and
know,
every day is important, man, and every day is a
every
blessing.
one day at a time. That's what I say to people, one day at a time. Today's the day right now, and it's the
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that, and yeah, a good marriage is a blessing, and
oh,
when you have a good marriage, really every day is worth celebrating.
well, I'm gonna go back to like-minded life choices and people, because I don't really know that I associate with a lot of bad, people that have bad marriages.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I
I
don't get
know.
I
I
don't get the divorce thing still.
I still don't either, but I know a few that have legitimate problems, but I can't get my head around it either. I don't.
My grandmother divorced her gramps after 46
Hey,
years of marriage.
by the way,
That's crazy.
my parents got divorced, and they're great people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it
But
happens,
the cool
but
thing is that if you can do that and still be friends and still
yeah,
know that the connection and that love is more important than whatever is on paper.
but for me, I've been blessed with such a good marriage that I can't get my head around how it comes to that point, but I just because I haven't lived it.
It just
Um,
keeps getting better, brother. I'm
I
telling
I
you.
I believe you. I'm in almost 18 years.
Yeah.
You're in 31. So, and I
That's
agree with
right.
you. It keeps getting better you start to become more and more one with a person.
Yes. Look,
Your lives
in
grow
marriage,
together more and more.
I don't know if you'll agree with this, but what I've been able to help people with in, getting through that seventh, eighth, ninth year, it's getting kind of boring, this and that. Look at, I bore myself at times, but I don't give up on myself. And there have times I did, but guess who was there to help me out? Probably my best friend and my wife. So
Hey, and you know what else I think a lot of people do
my
is, yeah, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say my advice then is, look at, if you know how you feel and you're just trying to justify what you think this other person feels that is basically your soulmate, then you don't need to be with that person. It has to be an equal bond from start to finish. And when you stop talking about those important things, your spiritual beliefs, your finances, your relations, your intimacy, when you stop talking about all that, you're in about your seventh, eighth, maybe ninth year of marriage, and you're having to support family, you're having to go to work extra hours and doing this and that, and you kind of lose touch of, what do you call it, transparency of all of a sudden this marriage is, it's not about a partnership, it's not about living and enjoying experience in life, it's about getting through life. My marriage has never been like that, and I don't want to be around people that's what they think
No,
marriage is.
mine neither. And you know what I think I've also thought about and have seen is that a lot of people, even though they get married, they still kind of have separate goals.
Well,
Right.
absolutely, we're all
It's like, hey,
individuals.
I'm doing my own thing. I got my marriage too, but really,
We're all individuals.
I
So I'm not
know.
resisting the fact that, like, when Brenda wants to go out with the gals and then she's doing her thing, look at, I got I got nothing but support. She's her own self. And that's why she's graced me with her life for 40 something years, because I don't say, oh, well, that's not right.
But so that's cool. But at the same time, I really think you got to be all in on doing whatever
right.
is right for your marriage, and that's different for everybody. but two people definitely got to be on the same page about,
Right.
we're going to do whatever it takes to,
Well, then remember that the one,
to have the same, like the same end game in mind.
right. And the only thing that stops that is that thing called life or death.
But that's when you got to you got to continuously dedicate yourself to it.
Well, you're such a wise man for such a young man, brother, because there's people older than me, I'm 55, that don't get that. They
Yeah.
don't get it. And, hey, that's another part of sharing what we're doing.
But hey, I want to go back to Giuseppe real quick, if I could.
Absolutely.
So I think from a business standpoint, I'm just thinking like as a business owner,
Okay.
if you're thinking long term, which we are, right? We're talking about doing this for the rest of our lives.
20, 30, I don't know how long my life will last.
So
30, 40 years.
if you just think about it long term, even just from a raw dollars and cents perspective,
Yeah.
think about how valuable it is to have a guy who comes back to your restaurant all the time for 25 years. Like
Right.
a customer like that is worth $10,000 or something. I mean, it's worth more, whatever. But
Financially, I don't know.
but I'm just, even if you just look at it from that perspective,
right.
it just makes more sense to be the best. Like, you don't have to choose, but I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to choose, right? You don't got to go like, well, all right, I'm going to sacrifice some money because I need to be a person of integrity and do the right thing.
Right.
No, in the long run, they go together, which is like a pretty cool law of the universe. In the long run, everything kind of comes together and works together. In the short run, maybe not, but if you just think about the long run, everything comes together in a very beautiful way.
Oh, so well put. So well said. Hey, you could be my writer for this chocolate song I'm coming up with.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Hey man, you're gonna
out yesterday.
You're gonna have to premiere it on the podcast here, dude.
Well, this is only my second one, but my first one that actually has good audio. So
I can't wait to hear it, man. That's awesome. Can you sing too?
We talked about that a little last time. I love to sing. I belt out. Fortunato, young.
That sounds pretty.
But I don't know how to sing very well.
You sound pretty good to me. Hey, so look, staying on the theme, man. One other thing I really like about the businesses that I visit is when somebody will not pressure you into buying something and will like just let you decide for yourself and not push you. You can make a recommendation for what you think is right. But if you can see someone's not ready to buy, or they want more time to think about it, then to just totally just like fine. And what I've learned from being a salesman and from being in business is that if you do that, people will come back around.
Yes.
And that's just one thing I've always liked is like people that don't push you faster than you want to be pushed.
Yeah, I don't want to push my life. I don't want to push my beliefs. I don't want to push anything on anybody, especially as something that I care so much about. And well, I guess that makes us people like us unique, because when somebody does have something, that's what they want to do. When they have that belief, they want to push it on people. They want to change your mind. They want you to get. And I guess it's being a better person that doesn't do that with something they're so passionate about, something that they're going to take to their grave with them, that basically for the rest of their lives are going to support and be an advocate of. Brain injury, head injuries, having to go through life with other handicaps or missing limbs or prosthetics, or look at people do it every day and they do it really well with a really good attitude, instead of look at me, woe is me. That you saw something in me that most people I was afraid of, they're probably just they're not even gonna get me. They're not gonna understand why my brain goes 7 different ways every 6 minutes, and you got that in me, but that's my life. And so I've now decided that Fortunato for chocolate and Adam Pearson and Brian Horsley, and man, I can't wait to meet Dan.
Hey, he's coming next week, dude.
Man, I am so.
You're gonna love him. You guys are gonna be bros, man.
Well, I told you, you're like 2 years older than my oldest son would have been. So,
I know, isn't it funny, man? But
but I
you,
feel you make me feel like I'm like 18.
well, you want to some? My brother's 14 years older than me, so you and Brian are like right around the same age.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah,
actually, yeah, I think I've actually got like 2 years on him.
yeah, it's whatever. So we got an older brother, younger brother relationship going on.
Yeah, that's good.
But when my dad Dan are, and it was my dad's idea to start the business. I mean, really, Brian went along with it, but
So,
my dad has always been the entrepreneurial force behind a lot of the stuff that our family has gotten into.
the entire time that I mean, I've seen so few pictures of him even. So,
He looks like the guy from Breaking Bad, Walter White or something.
uh,
He-
so okay, so on the Facebook website, that is that him in the boots with when you were sitting on no, Brian was sitting on your lap and
yes, that's him.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It does
yeah.
look
That's him.
familiar.
And look, we're going to be running out of time here soon, but I'll
Okay.
tell you, my dad, my dad built a hotel in San Diego. You talk about a guy who always made his work art. He took apart two old hotels in San Diego,
Wow.
brick by brick, put them in a warehouse because they were going to be demolished because they were building a mall. And he put these two hotels back together in a different place and built something that's really unique. It's still in San Diego. It's called the Horton Grand Hotel.
Wow.
And my dad, that hotel is probably worth $50 million today. My dad lost that hotel in a terrible court case where
Oh,
he had the hotel stolen from him. And he walked away with nothing and had to declare bankruptcy and went through like a 7-year period where he couldn't do business. And I lived with him because my parents had gotten divorced and we were scraping
right.
by just to survive, although we did fine. I mean, we were
Right.
comfortable, but it was a really hard time. And talk about
Ouch.
a strong will. I mean, after that, he comes back and starts a business, and we're selling mining equipment to the gold mine, and that's how we end up getting into the chocolate business. But my dad is an amazing soul. You guys are gonna love each other, man.
Well, look at so obviously that is in you because I mean, I really feel like uh, brother.
Let me, hey, yeah, well, hey, since we're talking about it, man, and we're kind of going all over the place. I could tell you, my dad's dad, his biological father, the guy's name was Victor Wick, died when my dad was only 4 years old.
Wow.
So my dad came up without his biological father. He and his mom ended up marrying a different guy named Bob Pearson, and that's how we have the last name Pearson. But
Okay.
we're really Wicks. And Victor Wick was a highly successful entrepreneur as well, who owned a
Oh,
bunch of restaurants in Indiana, in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was starting to put up restaurants next to trucker stops
that
called
wasn't smart, was it?
yeah, called Vic's Diners, and they
Wow.
specialize in selling pie. So we had like a roundabout path, but if you go
Yeah.
back to like when my dad was a kid, we were in the food business.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
and we hadn't planned on getting back into it, but we did. But so what we're doing now, building community food places, kind
Yes.
of runs deep in our history. It's funny how things come full circle like that.
It is, but isn't it amazing? And instead of oh my goodness, I can't believe it. How about just indulge yourself and help other people to experience it too? And I think that's maybe what you saw in me, more than just a customer. I mean, I'm going to. Brenda has such big plans. I have such big plans. It's like now we have a tool, but uh, yeah,
Well,
when I meet Dan, I think that's what I'm trying to get at is
he's the best,
uh,
dude. My
yeah,
dad's the best.
yeah,
He's the best
okay.
guy. My mom is wonderful too, but my dad is somebody that you're going to really connect with. And he's a Navy vet. He had a bunch of buddies die in Vietnam
I'll forgive him for that.
for being in the Navy. Oh, that's funny, man. But no, but look, same though. As a combat veteran, they lost a lot of friends, man. I mean, Vietnam
Yeah,
was a rough war. So
it wasn't. Yeah, it was. Well, it still is today in the few veterans that were in Vietnam era, and there's
yeah,
not a lot of them left. Just
yeah.
like when the World War II veterans in the United States. I mean, they're just a handful now, literally just a handful now. So, um, yeah, that in itself, do a lot of respect.
Yeah,
But
but personality wise, you guys are gonna get along too. You're both
well,
very
cool,
funny, really cool, interesting guys. Love to talk, love to
man.
make connections.
So and I'm the kind of man that will have to say I'm I'm grateful that he's the man that he is, and that he did all those things after all the terrible things that happened, and still wound up in the end having two sons
So,
run a business that I
well,
mean,
hey man, I'll tell you the two things my dad likes, like the two nicknames he has always had. One is the riverboat gambler. That's how he thinks about himself, as a guy who's like, you just show up on the scene and you live by your wits.
right,
You know, you
right,
just you figure it out as you go along. And
right.
the other one's junkyard dog. Like
Oh,
he never gives up. He never ever gives up on anything. He's one of the toughest people I've ever met.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gotten me injured quite a bit myself. I have the same
Well,
attitude because
hey man, that's what happens. You do get injured,
yeah, you absolutely.
but you're brave, and you don't give up. Him and you, and that's what that kind of mindset is, that junkyard dog mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to be called Mad Dog back in junior high and high school, and then it wound up Shrek as I got older. But
Shrek is
yeah, I
so
was
funny,
Mad
man.
Dog. I was the Mad Dog, the junkyard dog. You,
I believe it, dude. Well, hey, before we sign off, I just also want to point out, I know you mentioned like you and Brenda having big plans, but
yeah,
I'm starting to see the outlines of how to make a little chocolate shop work. Like we're starting to see the outlines of how it happens, dude. I'm telling you, that's going to be a good business to set up elsewhere. So it's going to be really cool when you and Brenda can get involved in that.
and people do. It's like you said. If you have 1,000 restaurants, and it's just easy to go to, easy to get, and it just comes mainstream, normal. Well, it's fulfillment, but it's not enjoyment.
Yeah,
And then you have these little chocolate shops set up in areas so that they maybe only 30 miles, 40 miles from each other, and there's not 1,000 of them. There's only, who knows?
and you don't need a big community to support it.
You don't.
You don't.
No, because people will travel. I'll
Yeah.
travel 50, 60 miles for the right product, brother. You know that.
Yeah, but yeah, and you know what, man? If even if you only got like a couple 30,000 people in a little community, although you're in Tacoma, which is much bigger, but even so, if you become the go-to for chocolate in that community, then you could have thousands of customers. I mean, you can make it work if you do it the right way.
Right, exactly.
And one
Well,
thing and one
and it's also kind of not imitating, but using the structure that we're creating, that you're creating at the retail.
yeah, that we're creating together. And
Yeah.
but one thing I'm not, well, that I think is going to be cool,
I
that
really
is
like the fulfillment side too. Like,
that helps.
all day long. I mean,
I
I'd be
know,
like,
I know you would.
that.
But you're more valuable talking to people, man.
Well,
But
thank you. I
but one
appreciate
thing that I'm thinking though is, as we start to open up more of the retail shops, over time,
Yeah.
is that we shouldn't be a traditional chain either. That
No.
each place should, like, I know you have your certain,
Well, can I say this?
that you have your certain style. Each place should be different and unique according to who the owner is that's working it.
Right, extension of your family, so to speak.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so look at it's like right away when I says this, as the shop, the retail side is being developed and moved around and worked, and new things are coming in. It's like I love Brenda to critique it. Now, if we had the shop with the same amount of space, what would you do with that right here? And what would you use more eclectic furniture, or you know what I mean? It's her personal.
I bet you we're going to end up with a lot of married people running it, right? And so yeah, I was thinking about that.
I know some individuals too that got some really great.
Well, I was thinking, like, you go to Chipotle or something, and it's like everything is exactly everyone, which is, there's something about it that's good, I guess, because you know what to expect. But who wants to be another McDonald's or Chipotle or Target or something? I mean,
Not us, not
no way,
you,
man.
not
Like,
me.
yeah. Well, and we, if we're embracing the individuality of each person that we work for, then each shop should be different according to who the people are that are. I mean, we'll have the fundamentals of what works, but each
Well,
shop should.
yeah, as bullish as I am, nobody knows, but okay, so everybody, I jumped on it and I brought this furniture in, and then I brought all this stuff in, and it was like next day, I'm gonna go take that back now.
Well, hey, the thing is,
But no,
hey,
you understand the love, the appreciation I have for the fact that it is going to be set up exactly how you would like to have it set up. And when Brendan and I have the opportunity, and it's not if, it's going to be when, because
it'd probably be sooner than you think, man. Honestly,
well,
whenever it
when
happens, though.
it's like, well, we get to have our family share and maybe some of the things they'd like to see, or
We're gonna know certain stuff works, right? Like we're gonna know if free hot chocolate works. We're gonna know which products sell the best. But I promised my wife she could design the shops.
Whether we never see each other again, I'm gonna be making hot chocolate for so many people now. It might
It's
as
the
well
best.
be,
Hey. I don't know if the people listening to this care, but so I've been out talking to people in the community and stuff, and a big automotive dealer has asked me to come in and set up a hot chocolate station for a customer appreciation party that they're having, and to like leave out cards and stuff to promote the shop.
Can you do a little presentation there too?
I think so. Yeah. So I'm gonna go set it up.
I could get people. I can get people if we want to do a little presentation. I mean, it's just sharing knowledge, right?
I think what they want us to do is just set up, bring the machine, get it filled up with hot chocolate, leave a bunch of cards, and let them have it. But it's
well, it's a different type of crew, though. I used to be a machinist, so yeah, maybe we want to just leave all our goodness there, and then let them enjoy it.
Yeah, but the thing that I was wanting to tell you is what we're finding out. What we'll be finding out is how do you get the word out? But right, and that'll stay the same, but each shop will be a little bit different. So that'll be cool.
We are our best advertisement. We are not.
That's well said.
We're not a product. We're people, and everybody, like I mentioned with Rob and Scott, who graciously took the time to email me back, and I emailed them both back.
And I got to introduce you to Chip as well, which I will.
Absolutely. Is that we're real people. We are our advertisement, but our advertisement is sharing a story and a product that you will come to love. I mean, I've never heard anybody not.
And the product's top. I mean, it's the best it's the best in its category.
I can say very few things in my life are world class, and I get to eat a world class chocolate.
And it doesn't cost more. It doesn't cost more.
That's one of my strong points is, look, you're spending that on that. Well, try this.
There's no reason to. In this case, there's no reason to. At least with this chocolate. So
at least with this chocolate.
Hey man, we're starting to run long. We're almost done an hour here. So hey,
did we even get to our topic?
We touched on it a little bit. So hey, everybody,
I apologize. I wanted to be a fly on the wall, but
no, you did great, man. So everybody, check out www.fortunatochocolate.com. David, you want to do this the honor of signing us out with the jingle?
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
I sure appreciated the day, my brother.
That was great. Well, hey, more to come, dude. More to come. But sign us off with the jingle. Let's go.
Fortunato, yum!
All right, everybody. Have a good one.
You too.